I hope you're having a spatial day. This is Michelle Williams, your Survey123 Jedi. I won't be here on Tuesday morning, so I'm bringing out something from the vault so that you can enjoy it and have a fruitful week. This is a geocoding from CSV files, and it's also geocoding with Google Earth. So Google Earth is going to be free. ArcGIS Pro is not. And if you can get the majority of your data in with Google Earth, then you're going to be at a better place financially than if you did like 50,000 points in ArcGIS Pro. So I hope you enjoy the ride, and I'll see you next week for the Dungeons and Dragons Survey123 project management course.
Hello, welcome to the Survey123 class. Today, what we're going to learn to do is geocode points. So what ended up happening is one of the students ended up going into Survey123 and adding all of the data to his Survey123 right from his office. And that's okay. It's just not very functional because when you do that, all the points end up right there next to your work environment, not where they're supposed to be. Normally what somebody would do is they would go out to a site and they would, when they start adding all their data, the point would show up right there. So we thought this was a good learning experience to go grab the data and figure out how to get it to work properly. So what you're going to do is you're going to go into ArcGIS Online, log in, come over here to the content page or content tab, and then you're going to find your folder that your Survey123 is in. Go to your feature layers, go to your feature layers and click on the file. Now what you're going to do is come over here to export data, go to CSV file, and then you can put whatever kind of information you want to put in there. It needs to be different than anything that you've previously exported. So I put a date or something like that. It's going to show up in the main folder, but you could put it in the folder where your feature service is. Now, while that's downloading, what we're going to do is open up ArcGIS Pro. While that is loading, or while that's downloading, we're going to open up ArcGIS Pro. We are going to make a new project. Let's call that Relief 2020. It actually was 2021 because that was a COVID thing. So let's just open up that. And while that's opening, I'm going to go grab the CSV file. Actually, I'm going to look for the CSV file in my downloads. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go grab our feature layer. And the reason we're going to do that is we want it to do all the work of creating our coordinate system. So what's going to happen is, do you see how the map is right now? It's kind of looks like a map that you would see on a wall. What's going to happen is it's going to stretch out a little more horizontally when we actually add our data. So we can go to Catalog and Portal, because if your information's in the cloud, this is where you're going to click. And then you're coming over here to where your survey is. And then this is the feature service. It looks, has that same symbology as it does in the cloud. You can do one of two things. You can add the whole service to your map by right mouse clicking and adding to current map, or you can double click on it and get the layers. And sometimes your layers, there's going to be multiple layers. So sometimes this is the way that you want to do it. And you can do the same thing, right mouse click and add to current map. If for some reason your catalog is not there and it's not on the side, you can come over here to view and look for your catalog pane. Same thing with this content pane. You're going to click right here if it's not here, and that's how you're going to get them back. And the most of the time, the reason why they don't show up is because you may click this close button instead of the auto hide button. So what's going to happen is if you use the auto hide pin and it's straight up and down, that means it's going to stay here docked. If you click the pin where it's sideways, it's going to come over here and hide to the side, but you're going to be able to still see it. And you can click it and then you can bring that back up. And I like to make mine a little smaller. So you see how the map is kind of a little more skewed. And what we're going to do is now I'm going to show you what the CSV file looks like. This is how it looks when it comes in. The great thing about CSV files is it strips out all the code and formatting, and it's just the data. And the reason and what you want to do is if you want to see it a little bigger because you see you have all these funky things going on, you can't really tell it's in the fields, you can come over here, click this box that is on the side of the rows and columns, and then come over here and you see if you're in between a bar, see how that line and arrow shows up? If you double click and you've used this little box right here, every single one will go to the longest data. And now you can see that we have the business names, the addresses, phone numbers, all of it. So what we want to do is when we geocode something, the addresses are great, but it doesn't know what city or state you're in. So you need to add a few things. So if you come over here to the column E and right mouse click and say insert and do the same thing, right mouse click and insert and right mouse click and insert. You notice that I brought my pointer up to the top when I did that. I think it makes a difference because I've always done it that way. And then let's go ahead and add some headers, address, city, state, and zip. It's Beaumont, California, and 92223. And if you highlight all of them, you grab this little node right here in the corner and bring it all the way down. It's going to pull everything down. You notice that with the zip codes, it also bumped it up one digit. So we're going to do a Control C. We're going to highlight all the rest of them and do a Control V. And that's going to fix everything. Now, this is a good time to go in and see if there's any other data you want to correct. Like this one, we know that this isn't that, so we're going to delete that for. But you kind of just take a peek and look and see if there's anything that you could fill out while you're here. For the most part, we're just going to leave it. So we're going to save and close. And now we're going to go grab it and just drag it in. All right, now that's really easy. Now, if you have an Excel file, there is a way to convert it. You have to come over here to the geoprocessing tool and type in Excel. It's going to bring in all the tools for Excel. And you can say Excel to table and go find the file, and it'll automatically bring everything in as a table. You will still have to do this next step. So right here, it says standalone tables. You need to click on it and then right mouse click and click Geocode table. You can read all the steps at your leisure, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Come on over here, and this is going to be your service. And if you're working for a company, you may have 3 or 4 of them. Use the one that doesn't use the most credits. They'll probably want you to use the least expensive one first, and then use this Esri version as a last resort. Just to let you know, for 17 records, it cost me about 0.7 credits. Now we're going to say next, move, everything auto-populates. We do have more than one field. Here they are, address, city, state, and zip. If it doesn't auto-populate all those, you can grab this down field and figure out the name of the header that's in your Excel spreadsheet. Sometimes, like one of mine said property address, so I had to go find it. And then scroll down to the bottom, say next. Everything is already populated. Here's your United States, address, postal, finish. And then you kind of look everything up. The only thing I usually change in here is this output field. I take it to minimal, and then I don't have to delete so many ugly fields when I get all the data. Then I'm going to hit run. And I can scroll down a little bit and watch that take care of itself. It's going to match all 17 of them. And look, they put them all in the right location. And that is how you geocode your data from an address. Next, I'm going to show you how to geocode addresses inside Google Earth. So here's Google Earth. This is free to download. And I've already completed it one time, so let's delete that. Okay, once you're inside Google Earth, come up here to File, Import. We are going to grab the CSV file, still has our address, city, state, and zip because we finished those. We're going to say, oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. Oh, I guess it works still. If you click next or finish instead of next, you're going to get this error, this message. You're going to get this message either way. Do you want to apply a style template? Always, always, always say yes. Click this field, and this is going to be whatever your unique identifier is. So for us, it's a global ID. This is the only field that will get pulled back into ArcGIS Pro. And maybe someday they will fix that on Esri's side, but for now, this is what you get. So say okay. And since it's free, it's going to be okay. Anyways, you're going to get this funny little file. I just stick it on my desktop because I'm going to delete those temporary files. And if we turn it on, there they are. Now, this is just a temporary file, so we can't do anything with it. So what we want to do is follow these next steps. You're going to right mouse click, save to My Places. Now it's going to come up here to My Places. And now you can right mouse click, save place as, and that's where you get your KMZ file. And we're just going to, I'm going to call this 2022, call it save. And I always minimize this until I make sure that I have it, but there it is right there. Now we can open back up our ArcGIS Pro and come over here to geoprocessing. We are going to call it KMZ, and Esri calls it KML. And then we're going to input the file and look for, mine is on my desktop. There it is. That's the output location. That's fine. That's the project that we created the map in. And here's the output file. So we're going to say run. There they are. It's interesting that they're a little different than these guys. So that also tells you maybe you want to pay the extra funds, but if it's not that important, this might work for you. That was a good advice or a good little demo there. Okay, so what you're going to get here, let me just show you. When you have a KMZ file, you need to come to points. You need to take data, export features. I'm going to call it KMZ export or import. We can call it import because that's what we did. And it's not going to like spaces. And you can't put a number up here in the front. So then what we can do is now this file right here is more GIS friendly. We're going to delete this old version. And we're going to go look at the attribute table. And this is what our attribute table looks like. Here's your name. That's that unique identifier that it requested. Sometimes the folder paths have good data in them. Right now, it's all the same file, but sometimes your folder path might be useful, so you can parse that out if you'd like. What we're going to do is we're going to clean up our files just a little bit. I remember the first time that I had to do a KMZ, I'm asking the client, what do you want all this data to say? My boss goes, Michelle, that's not good data. That's just KMZ data. So that was funny. And you won't have to make that mistake because I'm sharing with you how to not do that. And then once you delete, I hit the delete key when I went through all of this and I hit save. And now when you come back here, all you have is that unique identifier. Now, if you didn't have the file that we originally imported with all of the attribute tables, and you just had the KMZ with this name, and you had the CSV file, which is here, you can join those. So you can go in and you can say, right mouse click, you can join. Actually, I believe there's a better way to do this. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to try to join these in a way that I know is available, but I haven't done it in a while. So join fields. I believe this one is going to actually take all the fields and just drop them here. So let's try it. Here's a join. I found this by accident one time. Input table. I think we're just going to use the CSV file. Input join table. If you don't know what these are, you can click in here and say the field to the input table. Let's see. The field in the input table in which the join will be based. So we are going to join. Let me see what join table is. The table to be joined. Yeah, I wish these were said a little bit easier. The table to be joined to the input table. Okay, I think this is going to be the CSV file. I think, let's see here, input table, let's read this. The table or feature class to which the join table will be joined. Maybe I'll send this to Esri and say, this could be much easier. Okay, well, we're going to fake it. We're going to input table. I'm going to say that's the CSV. I'm going to say this one is the KMZ input. If not, we'll figure it out. The join tables are going to be the global ID and the global ID. Oh, the name. Transfer fields. Okay. Since this just has the one, I believe the real way to do this is to use the input table is going to be the KMZ input. This one's going to be the CSV. Now we're going to flip these around. And there we go. All of these all these, everything else. Business name, address, city, state, zip, phone. Anyways, you get the idea. Owner, etc. So I'm going to just say etc. here. And we're going to validate our join. Checking for invalid characters. There's no red, so maybe it's okay. Yeah, 17 join tables. So we are okay there. Let's run. Ta-da! I love that option. I don't use it very much because I don't get to join this way very often, but there you go. It's pretty easy. If you don't want to spend the credits and you want to do the global ID, just remember that if you have 40,000 points that you need addressed, you could do this part first, join it with the CSV. It's quick and painless. And then whatever's left over, that you can throw in the Esri one, in the Esri geocoding. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed that. You guys have a spatial day. Bye-bye.